Oh, you know how it is. Good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And gotta be real honest with you this morning, it was brought to my attention, and I think it's something that I want to make sure I talk about up front on my show. I think that Erica Kirk, it will be um, like the savior of the Republican Party, or that's who they're going to push into the limelight. I'm not saying she's the one that she could even handle it or has the chops, but it came to my attention this morning. First thing off rip, Erica Kirk owned Romanian Ministries. It's like a children's ministries, a missionary, I think. They trafficked kids though, and all the mentions of that are being scrubbed from the internet. But I want to make sure while there's one up that you can read, okay, before it gets deleted off the internet, okay? It's about the only brief mention, okay? And again, they go after people they know that ultimately they have um, something to cover up. So no, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they only prop up think people that they have some beef on, they have some dirt on. So they know, like, hey, you either do this, do what we say, or we're gonna tell the world, and you're gonna get in trouble. Yeah. Morning, Debs, Danielle, Stacy, Gabby, Angie, Evelyn, Zeke. Morning, everybody. So yeah, up front, she has a doctorate in religious studies. She was she's a two-sport athlete, Arizona State. You know what I mean? Like, Erica Kirk could represent the Republican Party for a while. Now, does she have chops? Can she win public office and shit? I don't know. I don't know. I think she's gonna have a hell of a time getting away from some child trafficking charges. Okay, because I have a feeling that's gonna become a problem. All right, Romanian Angels. Don't ever forget it. I told you. And also know that I set out to make a video today about the rapture, and it turned into an anti-suicide PSA, because I know how disappointed people are. This is the age of information. Okay, this is like my sixth rapture. Okay, so just know, like, it's kind of numbing after you get to the third or fourth rapture when it doesn't fucking happen at all, and you're just like, oh. My concerns really, with people waking up disappointed on Wednesday and unalive themselves. You know what I mean? People are selling shit off. It's fucking crazy. But it tracks though. It tracks. Uh huh. I 100% understand. Yep. People take shit way too literally. I do it all the time. Hmm. I do it all the time. I take my wife too literally. But people take religion too serious. Hmm. I've said that for a while. Everything in balance, even religion. Keep it in perspective. First story off rip, Ukraine has destroyed a huge ammo depot that also had 19,000 drones and some specialized tank missiles. So Ukraine not starting the week whooping that ass, and that's what I'm here for. Russia steps up disinformation efforts as Trump abandons resistance. It's important to point this out. More more Russian disinformation headed our way. Um, Straight from the New York Times. Okay. Kremlin has begun a campaign to sway the parliamentary election in Moldova and what could become a new model of election interference online. All right, the Saudis are said to have warned Israel that annexing any part of the West Bank would be a red line. Riyadh reportedly could declare prospect of normalization dead, again close airspace to Israeli fighters. Abraham Accords said at risk. European officials, we won't take annexation lying down. And just understand, it's just like a bunch of kids are gonna die. So let's go. NATO is ready to use force against Russia, Estonia says after airspace incursion. NATO prepared to use force if needed. Trump abandons resistance. I don't believe this, and I 1,000% feels like it's going to be one of those crazy weeks again. Right, right. Hey, during the blackout, I think I did what I was supposed to do. I It was the 16th to the 20th, right? So I didn't work the 16th, the 20th, the 18th, and I think I 16, 18, 20, and 21st. I mean, I didn't work 60% of those days. Um, I took time off work because it was the blackout, right? So I just spent a lot of time with my wife. You know, that's the way I see these things. Okay, so there's two stories back to back. Ukraine destroys Russian Terminator on tracks engineering vehicle in a rare strike. It's an IMP-3M morning. And then also claims first ever strike on Russian amphibious aircraft. So, what did we talk about yesterday? Yesterday we talked about how Ukraine was developing like commandos, right? And then what are they doing now? They're taking out their specialized vehicles. Um, as Russia ramps up internet disinformation, it's like the the web of war, right? So the Polish Prime Minister has said, now look, we're going to shoot down objects that clearly violate our airspace. So after the Polish airspace is invaded and assets are moved into the region, NATO jets intercept a Russian spy plane over the Baltic Sea. This happened yesterday evening. Yeah, let's go Ukraine. I hope you're starting to see it, like putting pieces together. We've been keeping up with what's going on in Brazil. Brazilians are protesting against the bill that could lead to a pardon for Bolsonaro and allies. That's what we don't want to see. And one of the, we want to talk about it every day on the show. One of the reasons I founded the American Socialist Party is not only would I never take money from Russia or APAC, but I also would not be voting yes on a resolution to honor Charlie Kirk as a member of the government. And 95 Democrats did that, um, and they're all basically white people. And they did it to save their skin. And I think we are due better. We are due better politicians. Mhm. I'm as a white cis male. Um, every now and then you want to see a white lady. You know what I'm saying? Like do something stupid. Just take the heat off me a little bit. Here's a white lady got drunk, watched Tommy Robinson videos, and went out to stab migrants at a hotel. Now, Nina Manley had watched videos from far right social media figures such as Tommy Robinson before traveling to a Premier Inn in North Petherton. However, the hotel was not housing any migrants in its rooms, and the police were called. Manley was said to be drunk and stoned. Told officers, I'm pissed off and I'm gonna fucking kill someone. Can you imagine getting drunk, watching a bunch of how to videos? Jared, when did the Dems say they had no choice but to vote for it, not saving their skin when it's time for us to vote? Yeah, right. And you also, I hate to say it, but you need someone that's in charge of your political party that's like, hey, that has like a morning meeting, right? And says, okay, today we're gonna vote on this Charlie Kirk memorial, and as the American Socialist Party, our statement is profoundly, uh, no, we're not voting to do that. What the fuck are you talking about? Moving along, please and thank you. Get the fuck out of here. We don't mourn CEOs. We didn't mourn Brian Thompson. When the woman got shot that was the what was the lady's name that was the CEO for BlackRock's real estate division? Do we put the flags at half mast for her? He was just a CEO. It was just another school shooting. Are we going to do anything to prevent future school shootings? Oh, oh, you think of it as a political assassination. Might I remind you? Yeah, I follow What the Hill Gab. Might I remind? She's been shared many times to the group. Um, Significant. The EU is set to pull the plug on Russia's Druzhba pipeline, cutting off Hungary and Slovakia. That's why they're saying there's going to be a rapture. Donald Trump lately has been saying he was going to retake Bagram in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan's like, nope, no, we're really not. I'm interested to see where this goes. The UK warns Israel must not retaliate against Palestinian statehood. Why do they vote for it? To protect their asses. So there wouldn't be an outcry. And you saw Donald Trump reconnect with Elon Musk, and they were asking people to register to vote at Charlie Kirk's memorial, and also they used it as an opportunity to grift. Yeah, they're nervous about fucking midterms. There's a reason Donald Trump and Elon Musk are meeting up, and it's because Donald Trump's gonna need Elon Musk's help to wink, wink, nod, nod, win those elections. Hmm. Case with person from Florida is coming out tomorrow, suing everyone in D.C. I hope so. Yeah, it was 100% a rally. Russian General Alexander Lopin has been dismissed from military service. Jesus Christ. So the general that was in charge of Kirk Oblast is being scapegoated and blamed. Wouldn't be surprised if he fell off of something. Hey, this is cool. They're building a tunnel under the Alps to connect Italy and Austria. That's cool as fuck. Yeah, let it come out. Let's do something. Let's see if we can find. Why isn't it being covered by mainstream media? But I guess we already know. Australia formally recognizes state of Palestine. Peace time speaking at it, yeah. Here's Israel killing American citizens in Lebanon. Yes, I did. Like I said, she's the one. She's the chosen one. She's the one he's been dreaming of. She's she's got a doctorate in religious studies. She owned Romanian Angels, which was a Romanian ministry, which allegedly trafficked children, much like Donald Trump. She's like a Donald Trump 2.0. Mm-hmm. She's very scary. Mm-hmm. She got a lot of potential. Now, is her doctorate legitimate? Is it does it stand up to somebody with a you know horrible reality show? Yeah, Jesus Christ, they said. Yeah. So I'm just predicting this. So keep in mind, I'm just looking at the situation, seeing how he hugged her, looking at her resume, looking at Donald Trump's like on the way out. You sure she isn't his kid, right? Um, but do I think ultimately she'll have the chops to like outwit other politicians and no? Could she win public office? Yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Hmm? Yeah, she was one of his pageant girls. So he groomed the shit out of her. For sure. For sure. Yep. So Slava Ukraine, free Palestine. The world is standing with you even if the US government refuses to. And again, I think the same people the same Democrats voting to memorialize Charlie Kirk are the same kind of people that are voting against Palestinian statehood and shit like that. Gabby said, "Hell no, she's a bad actress." Good. I'm glad to know that her charisma is not on high. Right? If it was, we'd be in deep shit. But Donald Trump is fucking crashing and burning, and it's fucking great. Damn, and he missed. So did you know somebody tried to kill Donald Trump on his golf course while he was golfing? Did you know this? Ryan Ruth texts his three adult children and his fiancee separately to tell them he loved them, according to cell phone records, shortly before authorities say he was spotted by a U.S. Secret Service agent who identified Ruth as the man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump at his Florida golf course. I don't remember this. Later that same day, Ruth called his fiancee from the Palm Beach County Jail to tell her about his arrest, but she already knew. Everyone knows. It's been hours, the woman can be heard saying in a recording of the phone call. The whole world knows. Ruth is representing himself in federal court after being charged with trying to kill Trump and is set to present his defense Monday. Plans to just call three witnesses. They're trying to make sure he spends the rest of his life in prison. Didn't fire a shot though. Plans to call firearms expert and two character witnesses. fled without firing a shot. In fact, he was shot at by Secret Service. I didn't know that that had happened. ICE detainees are holding a hunger strike at the Louisiana State Penitentiary as we continue to point out that the cruelty is the point. Syrian president arrives in New York for the UN General Assembly for the first time in 60 years. Yeah, he didn't fire. He didn't fire a weapon. They're trying to put him in prison for life. Jesus Christ, man. U.S. President Donald Trump met with Al Shara in Saudi Arabia in May and announced he would lift decades of sanctions imposed on Syria under the Assad's rule. He followed through by ordering large swaths of sanctions lifted or waived. However, the most stringent sanctions were imposed by Congress under the Caesar Syria Civilian Protection Act, passed in 2019, and will require a congressional vote to permanently remove them. So, of course, they're coming here to try to get him to. There's people that are like obsessed with cats and shit. A tiger handler was mauled in Oklahoma. Yeah. No, a third of the inmates from Alligator Alcatraz are still missing. Tax Saturday. Rupert Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch are part of the group buying TikTok with Larry Ellison. So that means that shit becomes a fuck no. Just so everybody knows. Like, yeah, fuck Jeff Bezos, fuck Larry Page, but mostly fuck Larry Ellison and the Murdochs. So yeah, God, TikTok. Talk about crashing and burning. Make sure you divest. Holy shit. There was a mass shooting in Indianapolis on the other side of the city from me. Okay. I think they said 38th and 38th Street on the west side. Oh, yeah. So I put out a video. So look, I never bitch about views. Okay, this isn't about. I'm not, contrary to popular belief, not actually here for the clout. Um, okay. Um, there again. We need the founder of a political party that's alive to be available, right? That's the purpose. So obviously, talking about current events and the news and politics and giving you a perspective, it makes it easier to want to help that party grow. It's because I know the founder is like a he's up on stuff, you know. Yeah, I agree, Miss Evelyn. I check it every day, and it just takes a lot of gas to deliver like a norm like think about, I don't write my content, I don't storyboard my content, I'm not reading off of notes, I'm not looking at something while I'm talking. So every video, in my eyes, every long form video, 5 or minutes or longer video, is art. Because that's a monologue that I'm just spitting off the top of the dome, right? So what I have to do is go back. What I have to do is go back mm, and cut every video under 3 minutes in order to put it on Skylight right now. And so think about making a piece of art, and immediately you have to chop the shit up out of it in order to put it somewhere else. And it's just like, am I going to have the gusto to want to do that? But yeah, TikTok will be easy to delete. Anyway, I was gonna say I have a video. Um, I've listened to it and I'm like, huh, they are punishing me. So think about this. If I post a video on the internet, it gets 2 to 500 to 1,000 or more views. I've felt like my content was being suppressed for a while, but again, I'm not really here for that. And also, they will fucking delete your views, and you've seen it. I've shown you screenshots where it shows I have no views on any video, right? So it's like you can't care about something that they're manipulating on their end, right? But recently, one of the videos I posted only has like 50 views. And so I went and watched it, and I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. And what I noticed is I didn't say Charlie Kirk. I didn't say Donald Trump. I said the man with the dead hand and the former Turning Point CEO. And because you're not using buzzwords, right, that their AI is looking for, your videos not only are not being recommended, right, but you're being punished for your tags and stuff like that. And so I made sure to watch that video and I'm just like, huh, just notice what I'm saying. Would love if you simultaneously ran a radio show while you're doing live videos. Like played music. I would love to do that all day. I would do that all day. Play music, talk about current events. It would just have to pay a significant amount of money otherwise. I'm just sacrificing quality of life. It had to be an easy $1,000 a day. Hmm. And again, I want to point out, like, your protest doesn't work. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, right. Philippines anti-corruption protests turned violent. Yo, crazy. British rock star Morrissey has canceled upcoming concerts in Massachusetts and Connecticut after reported threats against his life. Yeah. Oh, shit. Six injured, one dead after a shooting at a country club. This is what I'm talking about. No place is safe. Mass shooting at a golf course? Luigi Mangioni's attorneys want the death penalty off the table. Yeah, right. Yo, y'all know who Bad Bunny is? Did you see Bad Bunny's not even touring in the U.S.? Jeez, one of the biggest, what would I say, like multilingual artists. 3 teenagers and one adult were arrested in Renton, Washington after an alleged attack left a 39-year-old woman hospitalized. Anti-trans violence. Just pointing it out. This is you know cause and effect, right? We just heard that the FBI is gonna list trans people as what do we say? Uh, Something like deranged and violent or something like that. Um, mhm, yeah. So Gabby, uh, do suicides spike every time a supposed rapture happens? Oh, so oh, this is interesting. You know what's interesting? I just read a lot of mass suicides are not characterized as such. There is a leader involved, and therefore those suicides are murders because like convincing someone to unalive themselves, that's also a crime. I just want to point that out, right? So when you tell other people to kill themselves, that's all, and they do. That's you had a hand in that. Mhm. Remember, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Is Saturday Night Live one of the next one on the chopping block? Stacy said the grinder app was lit during the ceremony yesterday in Arizona. Yeah, right. I used to know someone that worked in sex work in like LA and Vegas and Reno, and she told me, what's actually funny about working the Republican National Convention is that that's my week off. Those men aren't interested in paying for sex with a woman. Really? Yeah. The men are busy as fuck though. Mhm. Yep. Remember that they're just sex pests that couldn't handle you knowing that, right? Because you know why? Because human beings are freaks. We are sexual animals. We're just fucking crazy, right? But there is a line where shit is no longer okay. Arizona's largest stadium only holds 72,000 people, not like 300,000 like they were boasting. Yeah, somebody shared a video with me yesterday and they were like, "Can you believe how many people was there?" And I was like, "How many people was there?" 200,000? Uh, Where what venue holds 200,000 fucking people? 300,000 fucking people? There isn't one. So that's not true. And it didn't even fill the whole venue again. So they lied again. Use it as a chance to grift again. I love it. I love it. It's a great time to be alive when your bullshit meter, my shit just goes ponk bullshit. Like, nah, nah. There wasn't 200,000 people there. Maybe there's 20, 30K. It's time to be real about some shit. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. A social media firm did an audit about 90 days before the 2024 US election. Dina said, "What don't they lie about?" Right? So, a social media firm did an audit 90 days before the 2024 US election and found out that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk, by their following, 90% of their followings are bots. So when people tried to tell me, "Hey, 200,000 people showed up for Charlie Kirk," and it's like he don't got that many hardcore fans. There and a lot of people are curious. A lot of people are just morbidly curious. So understand that like a lot of people went to that because they were like, I live here, and it was like, holy shit, they're memorializing a podcaster. I want to make sure that we continue to say, because I feel like if I don't say it and I don't hear someone else say it, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Um, the First Amendment is she's a beaut, huh? She gives you the right to free speech and to peacefully assemble, and to redress your government and all kind of fun shit. And what it promises is that the government won't be preventing you from exercising your right to free speech. And so, what's important is that when the president orders someone fired because he don't like their speech, that's a violation of your First Amendment, your right to free speech. Charlie Kirk being unalived was not a violation of his First Amendment because the government, I'm guessing, did not order his killing. I'm guessing the government did not order him dead. What I can say though, beyond a shadow of a doubt, so I'm just gonna make sure we keep saying that shit, right? Like what happened to Charlie Kirk was not a violation of his First Amendment rights because the First Amendment only protects you from the government, and that's why um, the president of the United States getting Jimmy Kimmel fired is a violation of his First Amendment. Hmm? There are people I know that are making T-shirts for Charlie Kirk Day. Fucking insane. I would like a Happy Birthday George Floyd t-shirt, Dina, if we could do that. So yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt, these people are fucking nutter butters. Yep. Keep in mind that the white Democrats who voted in self-preservation to memorialize a podcaster, they did it so their white friends wouldn't give them shit. And everybody wondered what Donald Trump was gonna do. How come we can't do recall and lecture some of these awful politicians like they keep doing with Newsom? So Miss Dina, I think when you're winning 38 of 40 elections, I kind of think you let it keep letting it ride. Yeah, I think they were trying to get people to register to vote at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. I think Donald Trump sat down with Elon Musk and is strategizing for the midterms. I think they're shaking in their fucking boots, kids. hmm And that we're working on uh, a uniparty. So not only is the government going to swing back to the fucking left, it's going to swing so hard that it breaks the Republican Party. They won't have enough seats. They'll get divested from because they don't have good candidates, and it will cause a collapse of the party. You're marking my fucking words. We're headed towards uniparty territory, and what happens is more of the same. Not progress, more of the same. Historically, there have been a house for the lords and a house for the workers, and they were contesting each other in government. Yeah, once you get a supermajority, you can just impeach Donald Trump. So I know a lot of you were like, "Oh fuck, what do we do, dude?" They were just waiting until midterms to tackle all this shit. There ain't no statute of limitations. Okay, but I want to point this out. They are saying fuck it to martyring Charlie Kirk because Donald Trump is coming to terms with his mortality, and instead he's going to latch onto Erica Kirk, who, again, I want to point out, conveniently has three K's in her first and last name. Yeah, you can impeach and remove him, and impeach and remove, and impeach and remove. But yeah, the big news over the weekend that they said that, oh, we're gonna come out tomorrow with some news on autism. Yeah, they're gonna try to extort Tylenol out of money by linking Tylenol use to autism. As someone who did not pass the bar and did not stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, I'm willing to bet you that that's wrong, and it's an extortion attempt. hmm Yeah, let this shit come out. Steve Bannon says teachers are terrorists. So every school shooting after this rant by Steve Bannon is on Steve Bannon. So remember, talking about this was at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Steve Bannon said that teachers are terrorists. ICE plans to evacuate Chicago area facility. Can pardons be given midterm? They can be done at the end of a presidency? Anytime after a crime's been committed. Can and often do issues pardons at the end of their term. They're not restricted in doing so. ICE is leaving the Chicagoland area. Get the fuck out of my town. Nancy Mace, this unhinged psycho, says trans people should be institutionalized. Well, you know what happened? Our elders voted to get rid of institutionalization as a way for them to keep themselves alive and rich longer. Like they wanted to enjoy their millions. And then I'll give it to my kids when I die. Trump proudly separates himself from Charlie Kirk as a certified hater. Remember, Charlie Kirk was the kind of person to debate someone and wish them well, right? Uh, Donald Trump made a comment about how that's how him and Charlie Kirk were different. Is that Charlie Kirk wanted to see his opponents do well, and I want to destroy my opponents. Donald Trump's firing of a federal prosecutor crosses the reddest of lines. Oh, and I'll say it because I don't hear anyone else say it. Do you know why MAGA and these right leaning men, do you know why they hate gay people and trans people so much? Because they got caught up. Happens every time. You'll be out with your friends, you'll start talking to somebody, and you'll find out that that pretty girl you were talking to is a man. And you really got two choices in life. You can laugh it off, keep it fucking moving, life is like this, right? Or you could take offense to this, try to protect your, what of your image you have. And instead of just being like, hey, it happens to the best of us, this is part of fucking life, they become like super anti-gay and anti-trans, and it's because they got caught up. They got caught gawking. Your curiosity got the better of you, and instead of just being like, I'm a human, I'm fallible, right? I make mistakes. I'm a married man. I shouldn't be looking around. What do? They go covert. They download an app on their phone and they only use it when they go out of town. But you know what you don't ever hear about? You don't ever hear about gay and trans at these Republican events being mistreated because they're just closeted. And a lot of them are. They're gay themselves and in the closet. Hell yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's because they got caught up. Hmm. That's why Nancy Mace, she's probably the manliest man she ever met in her life, probably trans. Hmm. Happens to the best of us. Yep. Seen it. I had a social life. I've been out at a club partying with my friends, men and women, and had a girl come up to me. It was the best looking man in here is right over there. Oh yeah. And it's a woman. It's a trans man. Like, oh, that was a woman. Yeah, no wonder their skin is smooth and their tan is even. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, but they've got a beard. And according to a local news station, the Huffington Post about Chicago ice facility is misinformation. Well, I guess we'll keep our eye on it and see if anything, if we notice what the difference is, Mike. I saw a video this morning about Penske still still letting ICE use their trucks. Yep. Lady G, right? Now, I can't speak on living the double life. Can't speak on it. Well, they do it because they're being funded. You know, they're being paid to. A lot of these people don't feel this way about this shit. They're just being paid to say this shit. Pro Trump billionaires are taking over media, and I want to continue to, you know, use my platform to say we don't watch them. You know, last night, instead of watching Sunday Night Football, because it was on ABC, you know what my wife and I did? We went to fucking bed. Yeah, that's right. I'm not gonna give you my eyeballs if I don't absolutely have to. Right? Now, Colts are playing kids, I'm sorry. If the shit was on CBS, but if it was on ABC, I'd have watched it. But yeah, yep. I think these they're gonna torture us, but man, it's gonna suck for them. You know what I mean? Donald Trump claimed that Charlie Kirk's last words to him were "Please save Chicago," and no, the fuck they weren't. Here's Fortune.com. Behind closed doors, CEOs say Trump is bad for business. It's time to make America great again. Okay. So just know that you got a lot of brainwashed motherfuckers in here, and not in here necessarily. Countries being led by idiots. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see a lot more family time in my house, and we're down with that. Less TV watching. I'm not complaining. Yeah, my wife and I, we started going out together to take the dogs on a walk. We sit in the same room and just hang out, not really watching anything, right? Take naps, right? We laid on the couch yesterday and took a nap. So yeah, and I gotta say this. It's a it like it's like the world is on fire, but all of my sports teams are doing fucking awesome. So just so you know, uh, big Indiana Pacers fan. They just went to the NBA Finals Game 7, and the only reason they lost that Game 7 is because their best player got hurt. Um, the Indiana Fever, the WNBA team here in Indiana. They're in the semifinals of the WNBA playoffs, and they won game one of the semifinals without their best player. So keep in mind, my two favorite basketball teams for men and women, they're missing their best player. Um, and then of course I cheer for like the Indianapolis Colts, and they are 3-0 in the NFL. And then I have been a Miami Hurricanes fan since the 90s. Back in the day when like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed played for them. Did you know The Rock, the professional wrestler, was on the defensive line at Miami with Goldberg and all them? Oh yeah. So I've been a Miami fan for like 30 fucking years. They're undefeated. Now, somebody reached out and was like, "Are you gonna watch like Indiana, Illinois?" And it was like, as somebody who like was raised outside Chicago and then lives in Indianapolis, you would think, but no. I watched the Miami game because I'm a Miami fan, and I watched the University of Miami versus the University of Florida because you're probably watching future NFL players in that game. hmm Um, so yeah, I know that the world is on fire, but my teams are good. Okay. The Rock took a ton of money from ICE for recruitment. What? During this administration? Or like in prior administrations? Because you remember ICE used to be like a respectable org. Now they're being used as a Gestapo. And I saw a picture of an ICE agent. Mm, let's look. Did The Rock take money from ICE? Okay, so I tried a couple different ways to pin this on him, but I think he actually invested in an ice cream company. And I get where your head's at, and I wanna, dude. They say never meet your heroes, right? I want to make sure, like, never meeting the Rock's cool, right? I don't, I don't see where he received money for ICE for recruitment. I'm trying to find it. Trying to find it. Did Dwayne the Rock Johnson get paid money from ICE for recruitment? He received money from the U.S. Army for a recruitment campaign. $11 million marketing deal with Johnson and the United Football League. Again, again, if he did something wrong. So I don't know about The Rock, uh, and him getting paid money by ICE. I tried to try to find it. Please enlighten me. John Oliver slams Jimmy Kimmel suspension on Last Week Tonight, urges Disney's Bob Iger to tell Trump administration, fuck you, make me. Hey, you're all good. You know what I say. Never meet your heroes. Don't be surprised when they're bad people. Yeah, they donated like $10 million to a fund, but I think it was late, and I think they withheld money that they could have donated. I think from the story I read, and it's a matter of timing, and so I can never empathize. That's one of the things I do. Never empathize with like rich people. They had the money, could have just donated it. Time was a factor. They didn't do it. They failed the test. This is why there shouldn't be rich people, right? All he was capitulating to him is just stupid. Yeah. You make money if you stand up against Donald Trump. It's better for your business. America's leadership class is failing us, says Robert Reich. Agree. All these fucking bootlickers. Remember, AI is on the downturn. Companies are Jesus Christ. I just thought about this. Teachers are being targeted. AI is being. People are realizing AI is not as powerful as you think it is. It's a money trap. Largest caucus in House endorses bill to block U.S. bombs to Israel. Congressional Progressive Caucus endorsed a bill that would block the sale of many offensive U.S. weapons to Israel. Greg Casar from Texas. Yeah, I saw that, Gab. The AI in the dressing room. Inflation is worse than the CPI shows, says ex US comptroller. So, of course, they're lying to us all. The only problem with fast forwarding to the Nuremberg trials is a lot of people die between now and then. So, what we've got to work to do is undo the big, beautiful bill. We got to convince these Republican lawmakers that what you did was wrong, and if they go through with this, a lot of people are going to die. And they're going to die the first week of January. Hmm. Yep. Because remember, your Medicaid award is annual. So it goes January 1 to December 31. So a bunch of people are getting letters right about now, uh, ahead of the October 15th to December 7th open enrollment period. Hmm. That says they're losing health care. They're losing Medicaid. Hmm. And know that now is about the time that facilities are going to announce closures. Hmm. So And again, there's a lag. There's always going to be a lag effect. Okay, so what I've said is July 1st, a lot of people lost SNAP, and what I've noticed is an increase in the hey, I need money for groceries and bills coming from outside my house. Do you get what I'm saying? More people are having financial problems. Okay. Yes, as do I, Squint. Um, so what you'll see out of people losing SNAP is more people asking for help with groceries, right? And I've seen it in my own life. And then what will happen here October is people are going to have to move. And so what's going to be happening over the next couple months is people are going to realize I'm not going to be able to afford my medication and rent. It's kind of an either or scenario. I'm going to need to move in with such and such. So a lot of people over the holidays here are going to find out about familial law. And then, like I said, on January 1st, when a bunch of people go to pick up their medication in that first week of January and they cannot buy their meds, what do you think happens? What do you think happens? I'll tell you, gun violence at pharmacies. So, good luck, everybody. I'm picturing the pharmacy scene from The Walking Dead. Anybody? By the way, broken clocks are right twice a day. So, of course, Trump is pissed because Tulsi Gabbard said that the firing of Jimmy Kimmel and also the director of national intelligence reportedly revoked the security clearances of 37 people without telling them, current and former officials, of their clearances. Republican farmers face financial calamity without extra aid soon. Farmers in the United States, farmers who overwhelmingly voted for this administration, are begging for a bailout. Funny story. Uh, I have a farmer in my family who's usually really generous, whose generosity dried the fuck up. Only took like 6 months, not even a whole year. Yeah, yeah. Generosity just, huh. And remember, it's Chuck Schumer's job to keep the Democratic Party pro Israel. And that's why Chuck Schumer refuses to say why he hasn't endorsed Zohran Mamdani. You know how they were kidnapping and trafficking pregnant women? Here's a story about how a woman in the Bay Area miscarried in ICE detention, and there were many more people like her that literally lost babies they were carrying in their bellies. Uh, I think people are going to be held legally responsible. White House is building a higher fence around it. Oh, great. Ballroom's going to be a bunker. Pro life party, my ass, right? Yeah. Trump has declared war on the transgender community. Again, just remember the smallest population group. Remember, so keep in mind Donald Trump 101, right? Erica Kirk forgives Charlie's killer, and then Donald Trump says, "I'm not Charlie Kirk. I don't want my I don't want my opponents to do well. I want to destroy them." Go out, get yourself a kerosene heater rated for indoor use. Bipartisan bill seeks to reinstate national suicide hotline for LGBTQ plus youth. Yeah, ICE has got to stop bothering American citizens. Love this article title. Trump Trump might be losing his race against time. And yes, I saw they're trying to pass a bill in Oklahoma to make every state college put up a statue of Charlie Kirk. Clots and prayers. Let's go, blood clots. So, Ryan Walters, an elected official in Oklahoma, is spending his time as an elected official investigating the schools that did not memorialize Charlie Kirk. Suppress news. What's being suppressed? Hundreds of Jewish health professionals say end the genocide in Gaza. Here's something about the Gaza aid flotilla. Porn during a meeting. Was that Ryan Walters? Yeah, investigating schools that did not. Kash Patel reveals the FBI is investigating the hand gestures of the people standing near Charlie Kirk. Hey, remember how we talked about how it appeared like these guys were clearing the way and communicating clearly with their hand gestures? And then I had kind of been like, why would you put them behind the target giving, you know what I mean? They would never do that in a million years. You would never put people behind the target giving hand signals to a shooter shooting at you. That's dumb. But what definitely makes sense is if they're clearing the way to him from the right. And so I want to continue to point that out. Ryan Walters. Yeah, Israel's laying the groundwork for violence. I'm looking at like suppressed news and stuff. All right, Dua Lipa fired her manager after he attempted to stop pro-Palestinian rappers Kneecap from performing at Glastonbury. Yeah. A lot of the people in that freedom flotilla are supported by the countries they came from. I mean, they're setting the stage to be violent towards them, right? Mark Zuckerberg is building out a $10 billion Manhattan sized data center in Richland Parish, Louisiana. Remember, the poorest, least educated Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Okay, so they're not going to have the means to fight against Mark Zuckerberg. Water companies are illegally dumping raw sewage through secret pipes. Yeah, we have a crisis of leadership in every aspect. Uh, it's one of the patterns that I'm seeing emerge, through this show, are the people in charge just choosing to do dumb shit instead of whatever the correct decision was, right? A little bit of war, a little bit of eat the rich.
Wake up, kid. It's half past. You ain't nothing really changing but the dates. You grand slammer, but you know, Babe Ruth, you gotta learn how to relate. I've been swinging from the pearly gate.
Wait, did that actually take you?
Behold, you got the right key, baby, but the wrong key.
Yeah, take the eat the rich. Okay. Check the weather before we get out of here. All right, let's see
Here's
what
the
it do.
latest on the severe thunderstorm warning for western Fond du Lac, Green Lake, northeastern Lafayette, and northwestern Dodge counties. Expect 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning is in effect until 2:15 p.m. Please seek shelter indoors.
Oh wow, big storms. All right, let's do the weather and get out of here, okay? So again, if you live in the western like third of the United States, shit's on fire. Looks like there's a string of storms from San Diego to Phoenix, obviously moving west to east as storms tend to do. There is a vertical line of storms um, across Montana, down into Wyoming, again moving west to east. So big storm system in Arkansas coming out of Oklahoma down into Texas. There is a big ass storm system on top of me. So southern Illinois, central and southern Indiana, all of it, there's a big storm system. You see moisture on the Gulf of Mexico and on the eastern seaboard, and it looks like there's a big storm system in Wisconsin today. Okay. Hurricane Gabriel is gonna, although it's looking like it's gonna turn, okay,
Remember, turn around.
the weather intensity score is pretty high. So something to keep in mind is that weather's been pretty calm, but it's not. So keep your head on a swivel, make good decisions, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.